and
Yeah.
encapsulates that. The planning process is actually going to stand you in much better stead, even though when you're actually out there in the battlefield, things are going to be totally chaos.
Yeah.
All the plans go out the window because things don't happen the way you were hoping they would, etc.
Yeah. Well, you've got to be adjustable. That's actually interesting. That's in the Seven of Wands. That's a big idea. The Valor card, which is the first departure from Tippereth after we have the strife of the 5 and the victory in the 6.
Oh, yeah.
The 7, because normally the 7 is seen as a very negative point because it's a departure from the 6, which is the harmonious center.
Right.
But Crowley describes the Valor card as like what he calls a soldier's battle. Like, the soldiers are all over the place. No one can communicate with the general. We don't know what the hell we're doing. So it's just the individual who tears through and pulls it off is going to be the one who makes what is supposed to happen happen.
Oh, yeah.
And it definitely represents that loss of organization, but still the potential for success. And I think that we come up with that. That's a common obstacle for people to confront. Alright, sounds like we're pretty good here right now. Yeah, we can dispense with the formalities. Well,
That was very good, though.
I wanted it to be concise because I wanted to
Absolutely.
be clear.
No, it's really interesting looking at the minor.
Yeah, and people don't talk about it as much.
Yeah, totally. And it's nice having that overview sort of approach to it too, like you say, like naming off the names of the cards rather than focusing too much on the numbers.
Yeah.
So you can really see the energetic sort of change as it's coming down through each of these.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Crowley took great pains to make that very clear. And his letters to Frida Harris about the cards are really fascinating. Like, just to like unfold the tarot a little bit, because it's kind of like, oh no, this has to have like 7 points because it connects to this and here and this and that, and this has to be purple, not brown, and like it really gives you a sense that he's being really careful about the pictorial representations of each card, and he wants it something who's absolutely, totally precise. Very much an explanation of that system.
I think I have a question. Okay, what about people who aren't accustomed to regular practice of divination in general? What's your thoughts on that in general? Like, people, for example, I mean, as simple as reading their horoscope, or there's other means that people, try to pick up on in a regular day life where they really don't, it's not that they're looking into the depth, it's all superficial.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's just a game that people play, and it's fun for them, fine, whatever. Like, horoscopes is just ridiculous. It's sun sign astrology. I mean, you can't really tell
even
that
when
much.
they try to get deep into it, though, like, what is your stance on that? Should they just try to, like, leave it at that, or should should people try to harvest that into something else?
I think as long as people are keeping a record of what's going on and are able to look honestly at the result and not tell themselves what they want to hear, then they're fine. But the big problem is the second one, because people fall into that all the time.
It was a self-perceived prophecy, right?
Yeah, to an extent.
You read something, a lot of people, they read something and they think, oh, that's what's going to happen to me today. Without understanding that that's something that's been written for all the other,
Everyone was born with
10 million other Cancers or Sagittarians or whatever else there. And, like, even with tarot, like, you have to be careful because, like, people will be told by other, like, if someone's reading someone, a lot of the time, I've watched people walk away with these ideas, and that is not what was being, brought to them.
I think that's what he was actually addressing earlier, I think, before you got
I
here.
probably didn't get here, and I apologize for
just
that.
the fact that people already have these preconceived notions
if you have a
perspectives
preconceived idea, that's just all of a sudden going to... It's going to add a tint to what you believe is
any kind of business
real.
of fortune telling, whether it's happening in like a newspaper astrology column or like a tarot reader at a market or something like that, tea leaves, yeah. It's all based on, because you're never going to tell people the truth. Because frankly, most of the people who come to these things are boring as fuck. Like, there's a great book called The Circus of Dr. Lowe, which I was getting into. Anton LaVey always said it was his favorite book, so I picked up a copy. It's really hard to get a hold of, actually. But it's a very short, tremendously amusing novel about a circus that comes to this town where they have all these acts and magical creatures and stuff like that, which are all absolutely 100% real. And the people who come to see the show don't believe any of it, and they're all like, putting so, oh, it's like they do, like he's talking with the Medusa, he's like, well, they do that with mirrors, blah, 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 and then she turns the guy to stone, and he's like, oh, mirrors. And they have a fortune teller in there, who's Apollonius of Tirana, who was actually one of the people that Eliphas Levi contacted using necromancy, and he writes about his experiment doing that in the Doctrine, Ritual, and Transcendental Magic. But he's the honest fortune teller, and he has this woman come to him, and he's just like, seriously, what do you want me to tell you? Like, remember yesterday? Well, today's going to be like that, and tomorrow's going to be the same. Like, you want me to tell you how many coupons you're going to click before you die? Like, I can't do it. Your life has been boring up until now, and it will be boring until you die. And unfortunately, this is mostly an accurate fortune for most of the people that show up to this.
Not a big money maker.
Yeah. Now pay me.
You're going to get the money.
You're going to continue giving money away to fortune tellers and never changing your life, never being happy.
Yeah.
Do it yourself.
On the other hand, I think, the problem of not seeing what we want to see is a really hard problem, because inevitably there's a zillion details in our everyday life, and we pay attention to a very small fraction of those details. And by just changing what we pay attention to, things change enormously.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
Maybe.
because it almost seems to me like with a lot of these things, at least in my experience, like it is in a way, there are ways in which we can see what's significant to us in them. Like, I know you don't like this language, but like that they're like projections or something. Like we read the cards and it kind of lets us know what's important to us at that moment that we wouldn't be able to access consciously, and that may well also be picking up on other.
Yeah, and ultimately,
energies and stuff.
and I keep coming back to this, success is your proof, ultimately. I don't care whether I'm getting accurate information from an angel or a demon or my subconscious or a dream I had. If it's accurate information that I can use, it's accurate information I can use.
I wanted to ask, with the I-ching, I haven't really worked with, I'm curious, looking into more, they have the 5-element Chinese system, right, of metal, wood, fire, water, what's the last one? Earth, fire, water, metal, wood. And do you know of any way of corresponding that to the
This is interesting.
traditional elemental system? Or
Yeah, Crowley tries to do that. He does that in his version. I tried to do that myself, and actually, before I read Crowley's version, came up with fairly close results. There's a student of Crowley's, a member called C.F. Russell, who does some amazing stuff with this. He actually forms a cube using the I-ching hexagrams. It's a formal logic thing. His books are really hard to get a hold of.